Hello my dear students, I hope you all are doing well. So today I am going to start the next topic, that is supply function. Supply function. So supply function is nothing. It shows the functional relation between quantity supplied and its determinant. So the important determinants, important determinants of supply can be expressed in the form of supply function. So we can write this one, supply function, in a mathematical form also. Sn means supply of n number of commodities. Supply of a commodity depends on various factors. So it shows the functional relation between supply and its determinant. So we know that the determinants of supply may be the price of a commodity, price of commodity, maybe goals of the producers, we can write it, goals of the producers. Then we have natural factors, let's represent that natural factor by NF. Taxation policy of the government, let's represent that taxation policy of the government by T. Similarly, the expectations regarding future prices, let's represent that one by T. E. Now, next, technology or techniques of production is also one of the important factors. So represent that technology by, suppose, say TE. And similarly, n number of determinants are there that can be represented in a different symbolic form. Whereas we can write it, as Sn represents quantity supplied of commodity N. P is the price of commodity, P represents price of commodity. Then GP represents goals or objectives. Produces. NF means natural factors. So natural factor also affects the quantity supply of a commodity. Similarly, T represents taxation policy. E is the expectations regarding future prices. TE represents here technology used in the production process. So these all are the determinants of supply. Once again, how you define supply function? Supply function shows the functional relationship between quantity supply and its determinants. Or we can say that the important determinants, when we are expressing in the form of this functional relationship, or expressing in the form of this relation, then that is called supply function. Next topic we have law of supply. So it's very easy. We have done the law of demand in the previous classes. So we know that other things remaining constant, when price of a commodity increases, quantity demand decreases, and when price decreases, quantity demand increases. So that was the case of law of demand. Now here we are going to discuss the law of supply. So the statement is similar. Statement is similar, only the difference is that in the case of law of demand, it shows the inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demand, whereas in the case of law of supply, it shows the direct relationship between price and the quantity supply. So statement goes like this: other things remaining constant, other things remaining constant, when price of commodity increases, quantity supply will increase, and when price of commodity decreases, quantity supply will decrease. So if we compare it with the law of demand, I will write here law of demand. When price increases, quantity demand will decrease, and when price decreases, quantity demand will increase. So there is an inverse relationship between price and the quantity demand, whereas in the case of law of supply, it shows the positive relationship. When price of a commodity is increasing, quantity supply is also increasing. When price of a commodity decreases, quantity supply will decrease. So this is the case of law of supply, this is the case of law of demand. Now, the another thing that we need to understand is other things remaining constant. So what are the things that is remaining constant here? So we have done the various determinants of supply. So except the price of a commodity, whatever the other determinants are there, that will remain constant. We have to keep that one as a constant, otherwise the law of supply will not be valid. So that factors, okay, except the price of a commodity, other determinants will remain constant. So other determinants, what are that other determinants? Maybe the goals of the producers, maybe natural factors, maybe input prices, maybe taxation policy of the government, taxation policy and subsidy of the government, and so on. So these all are the factors that will remain constant while explaining the law of supply. Okay, so next topic we have supply schedule. So supply schedule is nothing, it is a tabular representation. We have done the demand schedule also. So statement is same, in place of demand it will be supply. Okay, so once again I am giving you the statement. So statement says that the supply schedule refers to the supply schedule is a tabular statement which shows the various quantity being supplied at the different prices. Okay, or the producers are willing to offer for a sale at the different prices. Once again, listen please. What is supply schedule? It is a tabular representation which shows the various quantity of a commodity that producers are willing to produce and offer for a sale at a different prices during particular period of time. So that is the statement of supply schedule. Now that supply schedule is of a two type. One is called individual supply schedule. This supply schedule is a two type. One is called individual supply schedule. And second one we have market supply schedule. Now you have to understand the term individual supply schedule and a market supply schedule. So I will explain you this individual supply schedule and market supply schedule with a brief example. I'll give one example. Okay, so the first one, suppose the price of a commodity, we have, as we have mentioned, that individual supply schedule is a tabular representation. Okay, so price and quantity supply. Price suppose measured in rupees and quantity supply measured in suppose kg. Okay, now when the price of suppose that commodity suppose rice, when the price of rice is suppose 30 rupees per kg and quantity supply is suppose 2 kg. Now when price increases from 30 to suppose 40, the quantity supply may increase from 2 kg to suppose 3 kg. Similarly, if price increases from 40 to suppose 50 rupees per kg, the quantity supply may increase from 3 rupees to 3 kg to 5 kg. So here we can see that the various quantity of commodity being supplied at the different prices. When price is 30 rupees, quantity supply is 2 kg. When price increases to 40 rupees, the quantity supply is increasing from 2 to 3 kg. Similarly, when price increases from 40 to 50, the quantity supply of rice is increasing from 3 to 5 kg. So here individual supply schedule is a tabular statement in which the different quantity of commodity being supplied by a single producer or individual producer at a different prices. So that concept is called individual supply schedule. Now I will explain you this market supply schedule. So in the case of market supply schedule, it is also a tabular representation of the various quantities being supplied by many producers. Now in the case of market supply, the number of producers will be more in number. Okay, so here the various quantity being supplied by different producers at a different prices during particular period of time. So this one also I will explain with one example. Now here let's consider price. So this is also nothing but tabular representation. Market supply schedule is also a tabular representation. So price, suppose say this one is quantity supplied by A and this quantity supplied by producers B. Now here QSA means quantity supplied by producers A. Suppose say in the case of market supply schedule we have two producers. It may be more than that, but for our simplicity we are considering only two producers, producers A and producers B. So when price of rice is suppose say 30 rupees, the quantity supplied by producer A is suppose say 2 kg. But at the same time the quantity supplied by producers B is suppose say 3 kg. Now similarly when price increases from 30 to 40 rupees, suppose say the quantity supplied by producers A is suppose say 3 kg and that of B is suppose say 4 kg. When price increases from again 40 to 50 rupees, the quantity supplied by producer A is suppose say 5 kg and that of producer B is suppose say 7 kg. Now we have to find the market supply. Market supply, M is a short form I am using for this market supply. Now how will get the market supply? We have to add the quantity supplied by the different producers. So here in our example we have two producers, producer A and producer B. So in order to get the market supply we have to add the quantity supplied by producers A as well as producers B. So here how much will be the market supply? 2 plus 3, that means 5 kg. When price of commodity is 30 rupees, the quantity supplied in the market is 5 kg. Similarly, when price is 40, the total supply in the market or market supply will be 3 kg plus 4 kg equals to 7 kg. Similarly, when price is 50 rupees, we can see that the price is increasing from 30 to 40, 40 to 50. At the same time, if you compare the quantity supplied, that is also increasing from 5 to 7. And for this third case, the total supply or market supply will be 5 plus 7. So if you add, we will get 12. So this is the case of market supply schedule. Okay, next now we are going to discuss how to derive the supply curve. Supply curve means whatever the relationship between price and quantity supply shows, if we represent in a graphical form, then that is called supply curve. So from the law of supply, we have seen that when price of commodity increases, quantity supply will also increase. When price of a commodity decreases, quantity supply will also decrease. That means there is a positive relationship between price and the quantity supply, positive or direct relation. And if there is a positive or direct relationship between the price and the quantity supply, we can see that the supply curve will be upward sloping. Okay, what will be the shape of supply curve? Supply curve will be upward sloping. Okay, if it follows the law of supply. In the exceptional cases, in the case of exceptions to the law of supply, the supply curve may take place different shape, but normal situation, or in the case of this law of supply curve is always upward sloping. So now I am going to derive the supply curve from one supply schedule. You can consider individual supply schedule also as well as market supply schedule also. So if we take one example and on the basis of that, if we plot, we'll get the supply curve. So I am taking the individual supply schedule. Suppose say individual supply schedule. Schedule is given as price, quantity supplied. Now when suppose the quantity supply is given in kg and price is in rupees. Now when price is 30 rupees, quantity supply is suppose say 2 kg. when price increases to 40, suppose quantity supply is 3. Again, when price increases from 40 to 50, suppose quantity supply is 5. Similarly, if price increases from 50 to 60 rupees, suppose quantity supply increases from 5 to 7. Now, if we plot this price and quantity supplied in a graphical form, we'll get a curve, and that curve is called supply curve. So if it is individual, if we have mentioned individual supply, so that will get in individual supply curve. Okay, if we have mentioned individual, whatever the graph will get after plotting, that will be your individual supply curve. Similarly, if we would have taken more number of producers, if we have taken the market supply schedule, and on the basis of that market supply schedule, if you plot a graph, we'll get market supply curve. So now let's take here, suppose price, quantity, supply. Now price is 30, 40, 50, 60. Suppose this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Now when price is 30, suppose quantity supply is 2 kg. 2. When 40, suppose we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is our QS. Okay. Now when price is 30, quantity supply suppose 2 kg. 2 kg. Let's consider this point as point A. Now similarly, when price is 40, quantity supply is 3. So when price is 40, quantity supply is 3. Just straight of this. Okay, this is suppose point B. Now when price is 50, quantity supply is 5. So price is 50, quantity supply 5. So 5, just straight of this. Okay, this is suppose point C. Similarly, when price is 60, the quantity supply is 7. So 7 is here, just straight of this. So this is point D. Now after plotting all the points, we have to join. Okay, join all the points by a line. We will get a curve. So that curve name will be supply curve. But since we are deriving this supply curve from individual supply schedule, so we can consider this one as individual supply curve. Similarly, we can derive the supply curve for market also. So that will be your market supply curve.